Well, hey, it's Huck. And I know it has been a few weeks since I've posted last. Um, the news I have today is real good, to be frank with you. As you know, probably from the last couple of videos I did, I kind of had a little health setback, I guess, sometime before Thanksgiving or so. And it took me, you know, weeks to get through that. But leading up to Christmas, I was feeling much better. I know I was able to go out and do the limited amount of Christmas shopping that I do a few days before Christmas, and I was feeling okay. However, a few days after Christmas, now I don't know, what brought it on. I started having like real severe tightness in my chest, and I know it was my lungs this time. I'm fairly certain it wasn't my heart. At any rate, it got so bad that by a few days ago, I guess it would have been Wednesday, I broke down and I took a couple of, I had been down to my maintenance level of prednisone. I thought everything was fine. I was kind of looking forward to after the new year here of, even by the way my dog is doing better. Now that she's been on this medication for a while, she's doing much better. It seems to be doing better. But at any rate, I guess it was around Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, I started feeling really lousy. I know my friend was over here, as he usually does. He comes over on Sundays. We watched the last Browns game together. And I know I wasn't feeling great that day. But by Monday, I was feeling worse. And Tuesday, it was worse. And Wednesday, I was so bad, I was debating whether to go to the hospital. And, what's weird about it this time is that I don't have like all the wheezing and congestion that's so noticeable as I've had in previous times. But I certainly have the tightness in my chest. And my oxygen levels have been, extremely low. Not when I'm resting and not when I'm sitting still, but when I exert myself at all, even, getting up and walking into the next room and back. It's been dipping down to the point where I was worried that this might be the new normal, that I may have to be on oxygen, nearly 24/7, which I've never, contemplated, happening this quickly. And the fact is, what I'm learning is that every time I have a setback, I come back a little bit worse off. A little bit, my lungs a little bit more damaged. And so, at any rate, Wednesday I was having such pain in my chest. And overall, just total fatigue and feeling terrible. There's a certain amount of anxiety that comes with this that I can't quite put into words. But suffice to say that I really thought I had no choice but to dip into the prednisone again. I took 20 milligrams, along with the 5 milligrams I'd earlier taken as my maintenance level in the morning. And as I wasn't feeling any better from that, yesterday, which would have been Thursday, again, a day that I was considering, maybe I should, I called all my doctors. My lung doctor is not going to be in until the 10th, which I do have an appointment on the 10th. They said they could see me if I wanted to drive to Warren to see a nurse practitioner, which is the last person I saw in that office. And I thought, I want to see a doctor who's more familiar with my history. So finally I called my family doctor. And my family doctor is going to see me tomorrow. I let them know that I've been taking the prednisone. In fact, today, before I called my family doctor, I took 2 pills this morning, and I'm planning on taking 2 pills again this evening, which is what I did yesterday. I took 40 milligrams in total. And today I have felt better. I must admit, I've not been as bad as I was the last few days. Not out of the woods, but a lot of the tightness in my chest, that pain has largely not completely gone away, but it's much less much less severe, and to the point where it almost seems to have gone away. On the other hand, I had a meal today. I made myself a little bit of spaghetti, and oh my God, I could barely breathe after I ate that. I don't know if it was because I was so full, and clearly I have some congestion. I'm not able to bring it up as much, but it's not loose and making me wheezy either. So it's, like I say, it's just feels different somehow. So at any rate, all of this is not probably real good, but I don't think I'm ready to leave this mortal coil either. So the thing that worries me a little bit here is that I've had to go back on the prednisone. And, I've already gone through so much of that in the last, 6 or 8 weeks. I'm also taking another antibiotic, this time some doxycycline, only because I had it. And I'm a little concerned of what this might be in my chest. And so I figured, well, I have about a half a prescription of doxycycline hyclate, which is 100 milligrams. And I've been taking that once every 12 hours. I only have about half of the prescription, which is like for 7 days. So I figure it won't hurt me to take it for 2 days, and I'll see the doctor tomorrow, and he will let me know whether or not he wants me to stay on it or something similar, or no antibiotic at all. And what I've learned is that a lot of times these exacerbations, it's not necessary to take an antibiotic. But depending on what's going on, because there's sinusitis, or if there's a chance of any kind of pneumonia or anything, then yeah. So anyway, I'm going to err on the side of caution at this point and take it. I got to take 2 more prednisone tonight, and another antibiotic tonight, and like I say, I'll see the doctor tomorrow morning and know more. So that's kind of put a sour point on my new year and my holidays. I know I didn't do anything obviously for Christmas Eve. I actually watched reruns of Frasier, which I'm kind of sad to see that they took that off the air here. It was on Netflix, and I'm on a 30-day free trial of Netflix for now, and I probably won't keep it beyond the 30 days, to be honest with you. But I'd forgotten all about that show, and it was one of the really, I thought, better written shows. Another show that I like that's on the air right now that I try to watch every week again, because I think it's one of the better written shows on the air, situation comedy wise, and that is the show Mom. Of course, I like the star of that ever since she was on West Wing how many years ago. I don't watch a lot of network television, be honest with you. There's just not too many shows on network televised broadcasts that I take the time out each week to watch. That's one of the few. So anyway, but I didn't do anything New Year's Eve. I didn't have a single drink, which is not unusual for me. But I mean, I do have still have a full bottle of wine in the fridge. One of these days I'll open it. But I wanted to feel a little better and not be taking any medicine like I'm taking right now. So anyway, hopefully the doctor will keep me out of the hospital and get me back on my feet. I was encouraged, like I say, I came very close to getting in my car and taking my dog and taking some oxygen and going for a holiday, post-holiday drive. I've kind of like I can't afford to really like go on a vacation or anything. Fly anywhere. I keep seeing these crazy. Well, it costs you $70 or $75 round trip to fly to Fort Lauderdale. And these are the emails I get from these different airport email chains and stuff they send me when they have trips on sale or whatever. But the truth is, first of all, I'm in no shape to go anywhere. Secondly, I can't afford the hotel costs, and thirdly, I don't know. My dog is on this medications now. I don't know if I can trust anybody to give her the medications every day. So I'm not sure I could go anywhere where I couldn't actually take my dog, and an airplane is out of the question. And thirdly, I just can't afford the whole thing. I get by because I've been getting help, and I have so many things on my list that have to be paid and or should be paid. Aside from the medical stuff, that's why I'm trying to avoid going to a hospital. I've got my student loan taxes that are going to have to be paid in April, and I still don't know exactly what that's going to cost. I've got I took out loans on my life insurance, so my life insurance isn't fully paid up right now. I owe them about I don't know what it is, close to $2,400, I think, or $2,500 total. I'm not really sure about that. There are two different loans. I have a life insurance policy of $1,000 and a life insurance policy of $10,000. And I borrowed, at the time, I think I borrowed, I don't know, about $2,800 on the big policy and about $650 on the small policy. And I have been paying them back, the interest plus for a couple of years now, but it's only been very recently that I've been starting to pay much more than the interest because of the help that I've been getting. And I think I've got the total now down to about $2,400, or I'm not real sure about the total. I'll have to see. They send me these bills about every, I think quarterly, 3 or 4 times a year. And I, and I send 2 checks, one for each thing. And one I send lately I've been sending one about $50 and the other one I've been sending like $100 or something. The interest is more like $5 or $6 and about $35, and I've been paying extra. But, I've been paying down everything else, and I have one more hospital bill came in. I thought I had them all paid off, but apparently there was one from a couple of years ago that just hadn't been sending me bills. And it's not too bad, though. Not like the other ones that I paid off, which were like horrendous. This one I think is in the neighborhood of, they want $700 and some dollars or something. It's in a collection agency. And like I said, I'd forgotten all about it because nobody had been sending me a bill from them. But it was from kind of early on in all of this. And so I'll probably do what I've been doing with the others, which is to pay them something every month. I don't know. At any rate, I thought I had that all straightened out. So that's what's happening with old Huck here. Sorry, it hasn't been anything political going on. But I'll get back to that as soon as I'm better. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm sorry to throw all this at you with the new year, but that's the way it is. Let me see how I'm doing. This is the first time I've had my oxygen off for a while. So I'm going to do a little reading here and see how my oxygen level is doing. Here, I'll let you see. Hey, not bad. Of course, I'm laying down. My oxygen level is 96. My heart rate is 74. So that's not bad, actually, for me, laying down and talking. Now, if I got up and moved around a bit, I'm afraid that would drop down to about 88 or even below, and that's when things get a little scary. So anyway, I know when I was feeling better a few days ago, a week ago, I started looking into, my oxygen level has gotten way way less stable since these setbacks I've had here a month or so ago. And what troubles me is that I'm used to being able to, during the daytime at least, do things like, although I always have my oxygen with me in the car, I'm able to get out of the car, go into the grocery store, usually grab a cart, something to hold on to, walk around, take my time. If I feel like I'm getting short of breath, I usually just stop and stand where I am. If I have an opportunity, maybe I'll sit down somewhere. But if I'm in the store, usually just standing still, and holding on to the cart or whatever. And in my at any rate, I've been able to get by and get back to my car with my groceries, and my oxygen level never really gets too low. But since this setback, I'm not sure I'm at that point again, and it worries me that now I may have to have oxygen with me whenever I go out or do anything, and in or out of the house. And if that's the case, they were running a sale on these portable oxygen concentrators, which are just horrendously expensive. And I had looked up what it would cost, previously, for the package that I would want, which is a relatively light one that I could carry around with me that weighs about, less than 5 pounds. I think it's called an Imogen, with the batteries and everything, and carrying case. It's around $3,100 altogether. And they were advertising a sale where I could have got that package for about $2,300 or $2,400, and I thought I saw someplace that were advertising for like about $2,100, and they kept calling me because I went online and I went to look at it, and before you can get any prices or anything, they want you to fill in some information, of course. And of course, what do you know? They kept calling me every day. I just wouldn't take their calls. I kept hanging up. Finally, they called again. I think it was New Year's Eve. And finally I talked to the guy. And I told him, that I wasn't ready to make that kind of a commitment for something that I really probably shouldn't consider buying. And of course I didn't. And at least they haven't called me back since. But those are the prices that I was given. And at any rate, the trouble with my oxygen tanks that I have is, first of all, in cold weather, they don't work. In cold weather, they do not work. They lose their oxygen fairly quickly in cold weather. When I say cold weather, I'm talking about like below freezing. And so it's not the type of thing I could leave in the car anyway, the oxygen tanks that I'm given. When they are working, they last about, I don't know, maybe 4 hours, 6 hours. They work on a pulse system. And so part of it is depending on where you have it set. And and of course how much you're using it. And I've never really had to use them, extensively when I'm out and about. Usually when I've used them, I've been, I've kind of run myself out of breath, and I put them on for a few minutes and catch my breath. And then, within 5 or 10 minutes at least, I'd take it off. So using them, pretty much nonstop. But I'm told they can last around 6 hours or so. So I'll take their word for that. But the problem is, of course, you can't recharge them until you get home. And it takes about an hour to recharge them, with this thing that they gave me. But if you're out and about, or if you're going somewhere, so for instance, like I can't go and stay the night somewhere. Like I have a friend that lives in Columbus, which is about a 3.5 hour drive. And he's asked me to come down here and spend a weekend. I can't do it. Because first of all, I sleep with oxygen. And secondly, these portables are only good for, so many hours, and you have to come home and recharge them. I can't transport the big oxygen units that I have, take them down there. Same thing if I wanted to go to a hotel or something, for a weekend or, So when I do that, I have to rent a portable oxygen concentrator. The oxygen supplier I have currently just informed me about a month ago, 2 months ago, that they were getting out of the auction business and they were turning over everything to a new company, which I guess is like nationwide, but they have completely different policies than the company that I've been with. And among the policies is that they don't lend portable oxygen concentrators if you're going on a trip. Company I've been with will do that for free as long as you give them, a week or two's notice. And of course, that they can get their hands on one. At any rate, so they're turning the business over to a new company. Actually, the staff that they had many of them are this new company. They're called Rotec. So I guess they're all over the place. Rotec didn't have an office here in the area, so they are opening an office in the same building that my company, a company called Boardman Medical Supply, basically located on the same property. They're going to open an office. And many of the people that handled the oxygen at Boardman Medical Supply's location here are going to now work for Rotec, doing the same thing. But their policies are going to be different. And among the differences are, if you want to rent a portable oxygen concentrator, it's going to cost $300 a week, which is, frankly, about double what is the average cost of. So I won't be renting any portable oxygen concentrators from them. I was with a different oxygen supplier when I first was diagnosed, was first put on oxygen, company located in Hermitage, Pennsylvania. And I only switched because, when I switched over from my health insurance to Medicare, my Humana Medicare Advantage didn't have my old oxygen supplier on their network. So I had to go with Boardman Medical Supply. At any rate, the old company that I was with, they only charged $125 a week, which when I've taken my previous trips, which has been a few years now, that's what that's what I had to pay, $125 a week. I think they had a minimum though, $250 no matter how long you kept it. So they charge you for 2 weeks whether you had it for a week or two. So I did go this summer. My friend Dustin and I drove down to New Jersey and to Ocean City and back. We were only gone, I think, 4 days. And for that trip, we did, I was lent a free portable oxygen concentrator. So at any rate, I like them. They you can plug them into your cigarette lighter and use it without using up the battery. You can get a single battery will last like 4 hours. A double battery can last 8 hours, and you can charge it while you're using it at night. You can wear this thing 24/7. There's different oxygen concentrators. The two most reliable ones, from what I can tell, are each that I have used are the Imogen. I like the G5. They have one that's cheaper, but I'm not sold on it. It's called the G4. The problem with that is that while it's lighter and smaller, it doesn't have the variety of settings on it that the bigger one has. Another one that I've used that I took to England with me is made by a company called Respironics. And that one's a little bigger and it's heavier, and it's not one that you can easily carry around with you unless you have like a dolly, I think it says it weighs about 10 pounds or something. I'm not quite sure. But it's not something like you can tie, unless maybe you put it in a backpack. And even then, that's a lot of weight. The nice thing about that, though, is that, it goes from, it has like 5 different, levels, which is good if you're, really having problems. But it's the only unit that of the ones that I've mentioned that can go from pulse to continuous airflow. Now, when it's on continuous airflow, that means the air is constantly coming out, kind of like this that I have at home. The air never stops. And if you're really having an exacerbation and you can't breathe very well, you need that. Sometimes if you're breathing real shallow, the pulse, you're not inhaling strongly enough to get it to send you that puff of air that you need. Whereas the continuous flow, will work. And so I guess that's the that's the advantage of the Respironics unit. I think it's also a little bit cheaper than the Imogen, but like I said, it's so damn heavy. It's not really the easiest thing to lug around. And I can tell you, as I lugged it around, England. But especially as now I'm at the point where I may need to have something like this, when I go shopping or when I go grocery, or whatever. Obviously smaller and lighter and something that I can wear, on a shoulder pack or whatever is probably be gonna. So I don't know. And these people that you talk to that work for these companies, although all they want to do is sell you one. You know what I mean? And they're not going to necessarily sell you one based on your needs as much as they're going to try to sell whichever one they think they can sell you based on, what you want to pay. So anyway, but I'm trying to resist that because it's just another big bill I can't afford. And, frankly, I don't know how long I'm going to continue to be getting the help that I've been getting. And to put myself even further behind on something that I, is just not very, is not very sensible. So, at any rate, I guess I could charge one on one of my, credit cards. I keep getting, credit line increases on my cards, as if that's going to do me any good. I'm trying to pay the doggone things off. I definitely don't want to add a few $1,000s to them. That's for darn sure. So, at any rate, I'm trying to put a little bit of money aside. I'm taking 10% of everything that I am given, and I'm putting it aside. And I'm seriously thinking of if I can find a used oxygen concentrator that seems reliable, I'll consider getting one. Only because it looks like I'm going to need to be carrying it around. And like I say, the problem with these oxygen tanks is they're not reliable. And if you're out and about and something goes wrong with them, you can't, if they run out of oxygen, you can't get them refilled until you get back home. And you can't really go anywhere, more than, a few hours. And you got to be sure that you get back in time. So like I said, it's not something I've ever had to worry about before, because usually when I've used those portable tanks or whatever, I just have them with me and I only need to use them briefly. That may not be the case anymore. So we'll see, and hopefully I'll know more after I recover from this. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm sorry to take up so much of your time, and I'll see you again real soon. Thanks for watching.